shit, yeah, they bread stank. Walk up in the club, dripping like I'm fresh paint. I can see through the facade like
What's going on, fight fans? It's another great day when you love MMA. Welcome back to Matty Fight Talk. UFC 278. It's going down in Salt Lake City, Utah at the Vivint Arena. It's going to be the rematch of Kamaru Usman versus Leon Edwards, the Nigerian Nightmare taking on the British Rocky. I can't wait for this matchup. Both of these guys are great fighters. It's very intriguing, and both of these guys have grown so much since the first fight way back when they fought in like 2016 or something like that. I'm not exactly sure, but these guys have gone so far in their careers now, and I think this is the perfect time for a fight like this. Kamaru Usman, he's been on an absolute tear. The dude's on a 19-fight win streak. He's 20-1, defended his belt against really high-level opponents, guys like Jorge Masvidal, Colby Covington, who seems to be unstoppable until he met Kamaru Usman, Gilbert Burns, who just had a war with Khamzat Chimaev. So he does not shy away from tough fights. I mean, he takes on top-tier talent. And like I said, he's on a 19-fight win streak, is in his 5th title defense, or he has 5 title defenses going on his 6th. He's 20-1, 9 KOs, 3 submissions. The guy's a finisher when he wants to be. And his wrestling background makes it easier for him to be able to have confidence in his stand-up and tag these guys up. Leon Edwards, on the other hand, he's had a lot of ups and downs in these past couple years, not being able to fight, opponents pulling out, the no contest with Belal Muhammad. I mean, I would have loved to see that fight go further because he looked like he was in control while the fight lasted. Leon is 19-3. The dude's on a 9-fight win streak. I don't think he's lost since he last lost to Kamaru Usman. That is his last loss. He has 6 KOs, 3 submissions. It's very interesting for this matchup. It's very intriguing because you don't know what game plan is going to be implemented here. To me, Kamaru Usman has the power in his hands to shut the lights out on anybody he faces. He is, in my eyes, he has surpassed George St. Pierre, or he's on the same level as George St. Pierre as one of the greatest welterweights to ever fight. Like the GOAT. Like those two guys are the top of the food chain to me, and then followed right by Matt Hughes. But Kamaru Usman's a finisher. He goes into title fights and he ends the fight. Like, he's not a boring guy to watch. He doesn't make me feel like I'm wasting my money. It's exciting every time I see this guy, and it makes me want to watch his next fight and his next fight. And I like that about guys like that because he doesn't get complacent. He continues to grow, and you can see it every fight. He continues to get better. And the same thing with Leon Edwards. He did have a moment against Nate Diaz, Leon Edwards did, where he kind of, was controlling Nate Diaz throughout the first 4 rounds. In the 5th round, got tagged at the middle to the end of the round and put on skates and potentially almost got finished. He ended up surviving that and winning a 5-round decision against Nate Diaz, which Nate's a dog. I mean, let's be honest here. But still, it showed that he has a way to get hurt, and that if he's getting hurt from Nate Diaz late in the fight, that this could be dangerous if this fight goes into deep water and Kamaru Usman, who's known to carry the power into the later rounds, can touch him up. And it's very interesting to see how this is going to play out. Now, average fight time for these guys, and this is why I was saying that earlier, is because the average fight time for these guys, we're talking 16 minutes, 40 seconds for Usman, 15 minutes, 15 seconds for Leon Edwards. So these guys are durable. They're used to going the distance. I think the Nate Diaz fight might have gave us a bad impression of how Leon is. I feel like Leon was in complete control and kind of just coasted and got tagged. He got caught slipping in that and got hurt. I don't think he's going to have the same mindset against a guy who carries his power until the end of the fight. Like Usman, he's going to be taking this fight a lot more serious, and I think he's going to try and put Usman away. And that is no easy task, but that is what he needs to do if he wants to win. I don't think if this goes 5 rounds that he's going to win a decision, because I think Usman is going to be trying to pressure for takedowns. He's possibly still the better wrestler. I really do think so. I would like to see that tested. I would like to see Leon shoot in and try to get him to the ground as well, because he is a good wrestler as well. Now, significant strikes, we got 4.66 per minute by Kamaru Usman, 52% accuracy. Leon Edwards is 2.62 with a 49% accuracy. It's a lot less per minute. So if Usman's landing like that, I mean, it can tell you how the fight's going to go. Now, shots absorbed per minute, 2.59 for Usman with a 58% defense, where Leon Edwards is 2.15 with a 55% defense. Now, the thing here is the takedown defense by Usman is 100%. So Leon Edwards is going to need to make this a dogfight. He's going to need to try and get Kamaru Usman uncomfortable. In my eyes, the first 2 rounds, he needs to set the tone. He can't get into a back and forth, tick for tack, lands, and then Kamaru lands, and then maybe Kamaru starts controlling it, and he's in the center of the ring more. All that shit plays into the judge's mindset. If I'm Edwards, I would train for 5, but I would try to finish in 2. If he can hurt Usman and put pressure on him early and make this a dog fight from the beginning, Usman's going to be uncomfortable. We saw Colby Covington have a lot of success doing that in his second and his first fight. He turned it into a dog fight, made Usman uncomfortable, and it showed openings. Now, Colby didn't have the power to put him out. I think Edwards does. So this is a very interesting matchup. It really just depends on who's going to do what. And I think that Leon Edwards, if he can do that, I think he can win this fight. I think he is the guy that can beat Usman because I feel like his takedown defense is solid, his ground game is solid, and his stand-up, he's longer, he's bigger, he has a nice reach. I think that he can touch up Usman, but Usman has the power to knock him out. So for me, I'm going to take Kamaru Usman by a 5-round decision because I think both guys are durable, and I think Edwards is going to definitely bring it in this fight, but I think Kamaru Usman makes those little adjustments where he just knows how his opponents are going to fight. He can handle the storm, and he has power. He carries his power so late in the fight. Watching Edwards get hurt against Diaz really opened my eyes, and I was like, man, if Usman touches him like that, this guy is going to sleep. So I got Kamaru Usman winning by a 5-round decision because I think Edwards, he's going to get caught. He might get dropped late in the fight, but I think he's going to fight through it. I just don't think he's going to do enough to win this fight. So I'm taking Kamaru Usman. The co-main event for this fight card is going to be between number 6 Paulo Costa taking on the unranked returning Luke Rockhold, the former champion. It's going to be at middleweight. This is a banger of a fight. To me, this fight does not go past 2 rounds. I think somebody is going to get knocked out. Now, Paulo Costa, 13-2. He has 11 KOs and 1 submission. Luke Rockhold, 16-5. 6 KOs, 8 submissions. Very interesting matchup. I mean, Luke Rockhold is the bigger guy. He does have a little bit longer of a reach. But I've watched Paulo Costa fight live against Uriah Hall, and I'm telling you, that guy is fucking huge, and he definitely knows how to close the gap. He's extremely explosive, has really good hands. I mean, if you watch the fight between him and Marvin Vettori, it was at 205, but it was exciting. I was surprised that Marvin Vettori could eat that power because Paulo Costa was landing hard kicks, hard punches. I don't know if Luke Rockhold, is 37 years old now, who's been knocked out, I think, 5 times, is going to be able to handle the power of a guy like Paulo Costa, who looks like he's reinvented himself and he's ready to go to work again. He lost to Israel Adesanya. He made all these excuses. Then he goes in there against Marvin Vettori, doesn't make weight. It seemed like he was unmotivated and uninterested. But I think he's woken up and that he's ready for war again. I mean, the dude's nasty. He lands at 6.85 significant strikes per minute. That's fucking crazy. Luke Rockhold lands 4.1 per minute. But Paulo has 59% accuracy. So not only is he throwing a lot, landing a lot, he's going to land a lot because he's accurate with it. Now, the interesting thing for this is the observed per minute is 7.02 for Paulo Costa with a 48% defense. So he does take one to give one, and he might even take a few to give one. Whereas the defense of Luke Rockhold, absorbed per minute is 2.43 with 56% defense. Luke Rockhold has a better defense, but Paulo Costa has fucking serious power. I mean, that guy is really explosive. I mean, if you think back to the fight with him and Yoel Romero, that fight was absolutely insane. I mean, to drop a guy like Yoel Romero and who Yoel's KO'd Luke Rockhold, this is not a good returning matchup for Luke Rockhold. I mean, Rockhold's been knocked out by Bisping, Jan Blachowicz. I mean, I'm not saying these guys aren't knockout artists, but I'm just saying the chin deteriorates over time. If you know anything about MMA, guys like Chuck Liddell, their chins didn't last long. You know what I mean? I'm not convinced that Luke Rockhold is invested into the sport like how he used to be when he was hungry, when he was dominating, when he was the champion and absolutely destroying guys like Lyoto Machida. I don't see that same Luke Rockhold coming into this fight. I see a hungry Paulo Costa who, when this guy cuts weight and rehydrates, he is fucking huge. He's super strong and very, very heavy hitting. I do not see Luke Rockhold's chin holding up. Now, the last time this guy fought was in 2019 against, I think Jan Blachowicz was the last fight he had where he got absolutely KO'd. All 4 losses in the UFC were by way of knockout. I'm just saying, when you have a statistic like that, it does not give me confidence thinking that you can win that fight. So in this fight for the co-main, I'm taking the eraser. I'm taking Paulo Costa, and I'm taking it by nasty knockout. I think these guys are going to throw. I think Luke Rockhold's going to land some punches. I do, because he's a fighter. He's a former champion. He's not an easy guy to just beat up. But I think when he feels the power of Costa, he is going to be on the back pedal. He's going to be retreating. He's going to be dropping back like a DB going into thirds. He is done. He's going to get knocked out by the end of the second round. You can put your money on that for sure. The next fight on this massive fight card, number 3, Jose Aldo taking on number 6, Merab. I don't know how to say this guy's name. Dvalishvilli, something like that. I don't know. We'll call him Merab. Regardless, this is a really good matchup as well. Jose Aldo, man, the king, the GOAT of 145. Yes, I know he lost to McGregor. Yes, I know he lost to Max Holloway. But that guy was an absolute savage when he was the champion. He had 14 title fights in his career. Hella experience. One of the most seasoned veterans of MMA. And just an absolute boss. I mean, 17 knockouts, 1 submission. He is 3-2 in his last 5. But he has defeated guys like Rob Font, Cheeto Vera, who's on a fucking absolute run right now. And he's fighting Dominic Cruz in San Diego next weekend. And he's also defeated Pedro Munoz. So, I mean, the dude's a monster. He's an absolute monster. He's very durable, great hands. I mean, if you guys know anything about the UFC, you got to know who Jose Aldo is. Now, Merab, on the other hand, 14-4, 3 KOs and 1 submission. He is on a 7-fight win streak. But this guy, I mean, his chin is a little bit suspect. If you go back and watch the Marlon Moraes fight, Marlon dropped him hard twice and should have put that fight away. That could have been a victory. I mean, Merab ended up turning it around and knocking out Marlon Moraes. He's also defeated Cody Stamann and John Dodson. So this guy has some really solid wins in the UFC, and he's on a tear right now. 7-fight win streak, number 6, trying to continue to move up in a very stacked 135 division. Now this fight, I'm pretty sure Jose Aldo is trying to get himself a title shot. He is really close, and I feel like if he can get a win right here, I mean, I know it's the number 6 guy, but we're talking like Aldo Sterling, TJ Dillashaw, Corey Sandhagen, like guys like that. I mean, like, he deserves the next title shot. Peter Yan's fighting Sean O'Malley. Why not? If Aldo wins, I would love to see him get a 135 title shot. I'm impressed that this guy can even make this weight cut. I used to watch him suffer and kill himself trying to get to 145. So the fact that he's cutting on to 135, not only cutting down, but having success, getting wins, getting knockouts, it's fucking insane. It's really impressive. Now, the significant strikes in this fight, 3.61 for Aldo with a 46% accuracy rate, and then Merab, 4.26 significant strikes per minute with a 41% accuracy rate. Now, the absorb, 3.74, 60% defense for Aldo, and then you got 2.28, 60% defense for Merab. Really good defense on Merab's side, but when he does get touched, he gets fucking hurt, and he gets hurt bad. So it's going to be interesting. Now, the takedowns, if the ground, I mean, Aldo has a great defense. He has a 90% takedown defense, but Merab has 7 takedowns per 15 minutes. This is a 15-minute fight, and he is one of those guys that if he gets you down, he's going to keep beating your ass on the ground. Aldo needs to keep this fight standing, because I think if Aldo can keep this fight standing, he's one of those guys who's just so seasoned and knows how people moves, can touch you up with a jab, lands leg kicks. He's very good in exchanges, and he's not an easy guy to win a stand-up war with. I think he hits hard, and he can knock Merab out, but I think if Merab can get his hands on him and get into some serious good clinching positions, he'll be able to drag this fight to the ground. I still got Jose Aldo winning this fight. I think he wins by a 3-round decision, because I think Merab is very durable. I mean, he shows very good heart in fights, and when he gets dropped, he doesn't get put out. He comes back, and he ends up winning some of those fights. So I think this is going to be a tough test for Aldo, but I think Aldo passes it. I say 3-round decision. Jose Aldo, the former champ, about to be the new bantamweight champ soon, but I got him winning this fight. Moving down the list to the heavyweights, we got Marcin Tybura taking on Alexandr Romanov. This is going to be a heavyweight matchup between number 11 Tybura versus number 12 Romanov. Now, Tybura has some very interesting wins. I mean, he's 22-7, 9 KOs, 6 submissions, very diverse in the way he can finish fights. The dude's 6'3" with a 78-inch reach, and he's on a 4-1 in his last 5, so he's been killing it. He has wins over guys like Wall Harris, knocked out Greg Hardy, beat Ben Rothwell, and Sergey Spivak has been on an absolute run, and he has beat that man. So this guy, If you haven't seen this guy fight, he's very good, very durable, nice hands, nice grappling. Guy's very well-rounded for a heavyweight, and I like watching him fight. Alexandr Romanov, on the other hand, the dude's 16-0. 6 KOs, 9 submissions, very well-rounded as well for a heavyweight. These heavyweights are getting more and more athletic. The more that the UFC is recruiting them, they're looking for more athletes, and these guys are bringing it and showing so much skill set as far as grappling goes, with the striking. Their cardio is 100 times better than 10 years ago. I remember watching fights where dudes would gas out, throwing 1 punch at a time. Their strikes, their significant strikes per minute was like 0.5, I bet. But yeah, these guys are way more athletic nowadays. Romanov 6'2" with a 75-inch reach. He has 5 UFC fights. 4 of those UFC fights are finishes, 3 subs, and 1 KO. And he did last defeat Chase Sherman April of 2022. So he's very active, and I think he's trying to stay active. So this is very interesting matchup. But I do have Tybura winning this fight. I don't think this fight goes a distance. These guys are heavy hitters, and they're good grapplers. They look for the finish any way that they can get it. I think Tybura, I think he's going to knock him out. I seriously do, because I think that Romanov's going to try and grapple a lot, and I think he's going to be going for takedowns, and I think that Tybura is going to find the home for some punches. I think he's going to stuff takedowns, drop elbows, maybe with some hammer fists if he can stuff it. I just don't see Romanov winning. I think that undefeated record is going to have a 1 at the end of it by the time he gets done with Tybura. So I got Marcin Tybura winning this fight. Let me know who you guys got. And the main card opener is going to be between Tyson Pedro and Harry Hunsucker. Tyson Pedro's 8-3. He's got 3 KOs and 5 submissions. 6'3" with a 79-inch reach. Hunsucker 7-5. 3 KOs, 4 submissions. 6'2" with a 75-inch reach. Both of these guys are 2-3 in their last 5. Now, the difference between Pedro and Hunsucker is Pedro has wins over guys like Paul Craig, who he's knocked out, and Khalil Roundtree Jr., who he's submitted. So those are big names in the UFC right now, and he has victories over these guys. Hunsucker, on the other hand, he's lost 3 of his last 5 fights, and all of them have been by KO. This guy has not won in the UFC yet. So to me, he moved into the big times and kind of got frozen. He doesn't know what to do over there. I mean, he hasn't had any success in the UFC yet. He's lost 2 UFC fights, 1 Dana White Contender Series fight. So I know that this guy's hungry and he's going to be looking for a victory, but I think Tyson Pedro is probably going to end up getting the victory. I feel like he could potentially submit this guy because it seems like both guys like to grapple, but I feel like Pedro has the more experience against higher level competition than a guy like Harry Hunsucker. I mean, I just think Tyson Pedro is going to get the victory in this one. Potentially a finish. I'm looking at like a first-round finish for this fight. Harry Hunsucker needs to win to stay in the UFC. I mean, I don't think Dana fucks with losers. Nothing against this guy. I'm sure he's a great fighter, but I really just believe that Pedro, if you can knock out Paul Craig and you can submit Khalil Roundtree, and to see where those guys are at right now, I feel like you can carry that experience on into this fight and continue to move up the rankings here. And I think he's going to get it done. I say first round submission. I feel like these guys are going to come in exchange. It's going to turn into a grappling match. And I feel like Pedro's going to get the better of him. So I got Tyson Pedro winning the fight card opener. Like always, guys, thanks for checking out my video. Don't forget to like, hit the bell icon to be notified when I drop more content. Subscribe to my channel, fellas. And I will see you guys on the next one. Oh, yeah, hit me in the comments. Let me know who you guys got winning as well. Peace.
Haters talking shit, yeah, they breath stank. Walk up in the club, dripping like I'm fresh paint. I can see through the facade like an